Hello, movie fans. This is Joe at the movies, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman 1984 was directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, Kristen Wiig as Barbara Minerva slash the Cheetah, and Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord. Um, the movie, I don't want to say too much about it because I'm not getting into spoilers, so I can't really give you much of a synopsis because a lot of the plot details are spoilers for other events in the movie. So I'm going to keep this part brief. Uh, but it's a follow up to I think it was 2017's Wonder Woman. In the timeline of DC movies, it's set in between the first Wonder Woman and before her next appearance in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. Um, so it was one thing I really appreciated about this movie, though, is that like the first Wonder Woman, if you've seen that, it was set in World War One. It was all about Diana, Wonder Woman, leaving her island of Themyscira, where all the Amazons live, and joining man's world to help them fight in World War One, and how she adjusted to the modern world run by humans, basically. And you kind of felt like you were there, even though it was, a fantasy story, sci-fi fantasy, however you want to classify, comic book movie version of World War One. They did a good job of actually trying to make it feel like it was World War One with a superhero. This did a equally good a job as portraying what Wonder Woman in this universe would be like in the mid 1980s. Um, so yeah, I would say I like the first Wonder Woman movie a little bit better than this one. But this was a good movie, but I'll get into some of that later. But it was a decent follow up to the original Wonder Woman, which was also directed by Patty Jenkins. This lady is a fine director, and I can't wait to see more out of her in the future. She's doing a Star Wars movie next, and it looks like it will be cool. So, things I liked about the movie, the pros and cons of the movie. So, the things I liked, the casting was fantastic as it was in the first one. Maybe even better, the casting. Kristen Wiig's character, the cheetah, was very well done. I was very hesitant about this casting because, as many of you may know, I used to be an avid comic book reader and collector, and the cheetah being one of Wonder Woman's primary nemesis, um, is a very brutal character in the comics, very animalistic, not to be trifled with, very savage at times, but also very intelligent. And I did not see Kristen Wiig being able to pull that off because I know her, as most of you may know her, as the maid of honor in Bridesmaids, which she's hilarious in that, and mostly done comedic roles, which she's done very well at. So I was a little hesitant to how she would be able to pull this off, but the way it works in the story, it was done very well. Another thing I liked about this movie that I was actually very concerned with as well was, as you know from the trailers, so this isn't a spoiler. If anything's in the marketing material, I don't consider that a spoiler. Chris Pine's character of Steve Trevor, who was killed at the end of the first Wonder Woman movie, is back for this movie. And if you read comic books, you know that if someone dies in a comic book, give it a year and they'll find a way to bring them back. Not one of my favorite tropes from comic books, especially since it's overused in comic books, and not really a trope that I hope carries over too much into comic book movies. So I was a little worried about that, but the method by which they brought the character back and how they used that to in the story to drive the story was very well done, and it served the story, not just an excuse to bring Chris Pine back. It actually served a purpose within the plot of the story. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into that because I don't want to spoil it. I want people to watch the movie. Um, the action in the movie was really good too. Patty Jenkins, if one thing that she is really exceptional at is directing action. Some of the scenes with Wonder Woman and the lasso is fantastic. Her costume I thought looked a lot better also in this movie than in previous movies. I don't like what Warner Brothers and DC have done in the last few years with kind of toning down the colors. If you notice watching Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, that Superman's costume just, it's kind of dull looking, and hers was a little too. But no, the red is bright red, the blue is bright blue. I don't know if they did that because they thought it would suit the '80s theme they had going on, but I thought it looked cool, and I hope they keep that costume because it looked spot on like it should. Things I didn't like about the movie. The movie's about 2.5 hours long, a little over 2.5 hours long, and in towards the middle and then the end a little bit, you start to really feel it. The first hour flew by. I was surprised that an hour had gone by, but the last half of the movie, they could have easily cut 20-25 minutes out of that movie and made it better. I think sometimes less is more, and so they should not have. It should not have been as long as it was. If it was playing theatrically, that's just less shows you can show in a day too. So I don't know why they're insisting on making so many comic book movies 2.5 hours long, when usually 2 hours is more than enough time to tell a good story. At least in a movie, if you know how to make a good movie. Like I said, they did a good job of making you feel like it was in the 80s, but they went a little overboard, especially in the beginning of beating you over the head, reminding you that you were in the 80s. Some of the over-the-top 80s fashion, I was actually alive during the 80s. And yeah, some of the fashion does seem silly now, but I don't remember everyone dressing like an episode of Miami Vice when I was growing up. Maybe it's because of where I grew up, but so I thought they went a little overboard with that. But overall, I like the movie. I would recommend it. I don't know if I didn't already have HBO Max. I don't know if I would sign up for HBO Max just for this movie. But with all of the good stuff on HBO Max, you should already have that streaming service subscription anyway. And if you do, definitely give Wonder Woman 1984 a watch. It'll be on there for the next month. I would have really liked to have seen this in theaters. I think the action set pieces would have looked really nice on a big screen, but unfortunately, these are the times we're in, and we can't have that right now. Hopefully soon. And that's all I've got for you tonight. Please don't be afraid to like the video on the YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of Wonder Woman 1984. Please don't leave spoilers in the comments for people who haven't watched the movie yet. And I will see you at the movies. Thank you.